I read a book recently called How to Die with Zero. And I don't know if I agreed along with what he said. It's a lot of like, you only live once, enjoy life, and I don't think most people actually do want to die with zero. I've heard clients say this over the years. I want to let my last check bounce. I don't want to have any money in my account. The problem with that is we don't know when we're going to die. Right? You tell me when you're going to die and how much you're going to spend, and I'll make sure there's nothing in your account. But we don't know when we're going to die. We don't know what the last years of our life are going to look like. Are we going to need care? If I have clients in care that have health issues, and it's like really expensive, and so we just don't know all these factors. So the best plans actually have a margin of safety, right? Like you're not dying with zero because there's this buffer there. And so I'm going to kind of go over what that looks like so you don't die with zero and there is that margin of safety. And the first one is start saving early. So if you had to run 100 kilometers over 100 days, you could run 1 kilometer a day, and that would be pretty manageable. Cut that down by 4, and you're 25 days to run 100 kilometers, you're doing 4 kilometers a day. That might be a little bit more challenging. Or what if it was 10 days or 5 days, and so you're doing 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers a day, and it starts to become unachievable for you. And so the same thing with our money is we wait too late to start saving. It might start to become a point where we're just not going to be able to save enough to live the lifestyle we want. So start early. Point number 2 is do some traveling while you're working. And so I like this for a couple of reasons, is that you're funding it with cash flow out of your spending, and typically your later years, the last years of your job, or your earning years. And so if you can do some traveling while you're working, you're not feeling guilty about taking big lump sums out of your retirement savings. And so you're funding it with current cash flow. So that's a really nice one. And it might just be like, hey, I'm going to work a couple extra years so I can do some of these trips. And then you're feeling good about working because you're, doing traveling with it. Point number 3 is be a little bit conservative in the first couple of years of your retirement drawdown, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And so if you start pulling big lump sums out at the beginning, that you're missing out on those years of compounded growth. So I'm always a little bit saying the first couple of years, let's either have money put aside that's not part of this portfolio plan, or let's be a little bit more conservative, because we just don't know what the back end looks like. And with travel, people they think like, hey, I'm gonna do all this traveling. Studies have shown this, people enjoy planning and organizing and the thought of going on a vacation just as much as a vacation. So if you're to space out your trips a little bit, you're going to get more enjoyment out of it, and financially it's going to be better off for you. And point number 4 is clarify your needs and wants. And so this great exercise is to get a piece of paper and say, what are our needs? What do we actually need? And what are some wants? And you can write them down, and then, keep it around. Don't just throw it away. That piece of paper, when you're making decisions, is going to be like, hey, this is actually, we wrote this as a want, not a need. Point number 5, you can use your house as a safety valve. And so that's what a lot of clients say, is like, hey, if I have to go into home care, I'm going to sell my home and that'll fund care. And so if you can do that versus saying, hey, I'm going to take some equity out of my house, I'm going to use that to live. Whereas if you're using it for a safety valve for long-term care, that can be a nice way of managing things as well. So I hope you like that.